I think leadership development programs are very important, and the emphasis should be on programs in this sense, that it mustn't be a hit and run event. You don't come into an organization and administer a leadership assessment inventory and tell everybody you're a good leader, you're a bad leader, you're a medium warm leader, and leave. Leadership is something that's learned. It's not inborn. Maybe some of us have a little more talent in that direction initially, but everybody can learn to be a leader. Maybe not a great leader, but we don't need that many great leaders in the world. We need leaders, however, at every level of every organization, so that people can act and act with intelligence, and act with integrity, and act with openness. And I think that programs, developing programs within organizations to help develop leaders so that they understand what leadership means at every level of the organization, because it's different at different levels. And different demands are made upon leaders at different levels. So I think it's an ongoing process, that you don't teach someone to be a leader in an afternoon. It's something that you teach, and they practice it, and they learn new things, and then you come to the next level, and you're always evolving. There isn't, you don't get to from point 1 to point 10 and you say, okay, now you're a great leader. Leadership is always evolving because the situations you're facing are always changing and evolving. Leadership, I think, requires development, and constant development. It requires growth. It requires education. It requires thoughtfulness, mindfulness, to think about what are the real issues, and how do we take this situation that's less than optimal and turn it around in some way that people walk out of the room feeling we're liberated. We're liberated to do something good in the world. And I think that's what leaders need to be able to help people to do. And to help people be leaders of themselves. I mean, we shouldn't always be looking to somebody else to be the leader. Look in the mirror, okay? And see who's there, and you'll discover that, we all have capacity for leadership. It's how we want to apply it. And do we want to apply it to important issues or trivial issues? I mean, I think life on this earth, from my perspective, is short, and we don't have a minute to waste. And so that's why I think leadership for peace is really important. Leadership for prosperity, too, because you can't have peace if people don't have a roof over their head, if people are starving, if people don't have clothing, if they can't educate their children. You have to, and this is a world where we have immense resources. We have to understand and figure out ways to share those resources, to create more resources and allocate them without feeling that we are so greedy that we won't share them unless we get some enormous amount of profit. A small amount of profit. And this is why, for example, in my peace plan, I talk about turning the defense industry into a nonprofit industry, because I think a little bit of profit is fine. Keep it going. But I think that we need to think about how do we train leaders to think about big issues? How do we train people to change their mindset from being followers to being constituents, which means they help the leader to create the idea, to elaborate the idea, to implement the vision.